So you've got the idea, right? The passion is there. Maybe you've even scribbled down a business plan, and yet you're still at the starting line. Today, we're going to talk about that invisible wall, the one that stops so many amazing people from ever actually launching their business. Let's just dive right in with a question you've probably heard a million times. What's the number one reason businesses fail? Just take a second. What comes to mind? Not enough money? The competition? Maybe just a bad idea? Well, it turns out the real answer, according to the research we're looking at, is something else entirely. The biggest failure in business isn't about running out of cash. It's something way more personal. Because, get this, the most common reason for failure is never even starting. And look, this isn't about you being lazy or not being smart enough. No way. It's about this quiet, invisible force that just keeps you stuck before you can even take that first real step. This is where it gets really interesting. We're always taught to look outward, right? To analyze the market, to spy on our competitors. But what if the real enemy isn't out there at all? What if it's right here, inside? This internal battle we all fight with fear, self-doubt, and just utter confusion. All right, so if we're going to fight these things, we have to know what we're looking at. We've got to give these invisible forces a name so we can finally understand what we're really up against. Okay, first up, business anxiety. Oh man, this is that nagging voice in your head that says, I just need to read one more book, or I'll take one more online course, and then I'll be ready. It feels like you're getting somewhere, but let's be real. Waiting for that perfect moment of certainty is just a fancy way of procrastinating. And then there's its sneaky cousin, the certification illusion. This is the deep down belief that if you just had that shiny MBA or that one special certificate, then you'd finally have the confidence to start. It's this idea that confidence is something you can earn in a classroom. But this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? The myth is that you get the knowledge and then you get the confidence. But the reality? It's the complete opposite. True, rock-solid confidence, that's a byproduct of action. It's forged in the fire of doing something, maybe messing it up, learning from it, and then doing it a little better. And of course, our third enemy, the infamous imposter syndrome. You know this one. It's that sinking feeling that you're just faking it, that you're totally out of your depth, and any minute now, everyone's going to find out you're a fraud. But listen, the most successful CEOs on the planet feel this. The only difference is they act anyway. So, okay, we know these feelings are holding us back, but why do they have such a death grip on us? Why does the fear feel so incredibly, undeniably real? And here's the absolute key. This isn't a logical problem you can think your way out of. It's a biological one. Your brain, my brain, all of our brains evolved over thousands of years with one main job: keep us safe. And starting a business, that is like the definition of risk and uncertainty to your ancient brain. See, you can think of your brain having these two different modes. It loves the comfort zone. It's safe, it's familiar, it knows what's going to happen next, even if it's kind of boring and stagnant. But entrepreneurship, that lives 100% in the growth zone, a place that's uncertain and risky, which your brain basically interprets as a saber-toothed tiger. So this epic battle inside your head leads to the most common trap of all. And it's a trap because it feels so productive. It's that endless swirling cycle of overthinking. Oh, you know this feeling. We make endless to-do lists. We build these beautiful, complex spreadsheets. We watch tutorial after tutorial on YouTube. We feel like we're working so hard on our business. But this feeling of productivity, it's an illusion. It's a really comfortable, really safe way to avoid the scary part: actually doing something. And that brings us to maybe the single most important idea in this entire explainer. You cannot think your way to clarity. It's impossible. Clarity isn't something you find in a book or a business plan. It's what happens after you take action. It comes from trying something, seeing what happens, and then adjusting your path. Okay, enough about the problem. We've named our enemies. We understand the biological traps. So how in the world do we actually break out of this loop of fear and inaction? Well, there's a really clear 4-step process we can follow. 1, start ridiculously small. I'm talking a super simple offer to a tiny audience. 2, you have to accept imperfection. Your first try isn't about succeeding or failing. It's just about collecting data. 3, shift your focus to learning. Instead of asking, will this succeed? Ask yourself, what will I learn from this? It totally changes the game. And finally, the most critical step of all is to completely redefine what failure even means. Failure isn't making a mistake. It isn't losing a bit of money. In this world, the only real true failure is being so afraid of those things that you never, ever try at all.
Now, when you really embrace this new mindset, you unlock what is probably the single greatest competitive advantage in business today.
It's not being the smartest person in the room. It's not having the most money or the best connections. Think about it, since almost everyone is paralyzed by these exact same fears we've been talking about, the simple, raw courage to act while everyone else is still thinking, that becomes your superpower. That's your edge. This question, what if I fail? This is the voice of your comfort zone. It's your ancient brain just doing its job, trying to keep you safe by focusing only on the risk. But what happens if you just change the question? What if this works? It's so simple but so powerful. This question doesn't pretend there are no risks. It just opens your mind up to the possibility, to the reward. It's the question that pulls you forward into that growth zone. Let's end with this, because it's everything. The fear doesn't just magically disappear one day. You don't wait for it to go away. You just get stronger than it. Because real lasting confidence, it isn't found by thinking harder. It's something you build, one small, imperfect action at a time.